Okay, everyone, it's that time of a month again where we have new monthly candles, and like every time, we're gonna go over them. So, if you're a day trader or a short-term swing trader or something, don't click off the video. I really think that this is important to do every now and then when it comes to taking a look at what is happening in the overall market so you don't miss the forest for the trees. So, once a month, we take a step back, take a look at what's happening in the overall market, sector by sector. We're going to look at crypto, we're going to look at all kinds of different currencies. We're going to try to figure out, paint a big picture of what's going on in the long term. This little exercise, again, something I picked up from my buddy JC at All Star, really helps me kind of clear my mind for, okay, this is what's actually happening on the longer term chart. Now we can start trading on the shorter term charts a little bit more tactically. Now let's pop into it and we're going to get started here. So this one, it's this one. Perfect. We can do Bitcoin. Let's get started with crypto and Bitcoin. So obviously, we had one amazing month in November for Bitcoin. It's where we finally broke out of this long-term resistance zone right in through here. Right, that was the push to 100,000. This is what's called a gravestone doji, which I've heard a lot of people very worried about. I'm not so much. I don't want to look at one candle's action. It's what's going to happen next. So, FYI, I'm recording this on Thursday morning. You guys are going to be seeing it on Friday, but we're just ignoring whatever the current candle is and we're looking at the past one because that's the last month's closing candle. So we're having this nice little push up, again, just choppy action on the lower time frames. I've talked about this a bunch, and what I think is occurring, you're getting this chop and this craziness around this $100,000 area. So a break of last month's high, which is kind of 108, could be very interesting for a continuation. A breakdown of last month's low, which is about 90, that would also be interesting because that would kind of confirm that gravestone doji that everybody is worried about. Now, if we take a look here at Ethereum, it's looks good on the monthly chart, but just what a laggard, right? It has not been able to be getting going with the rest of the market out there, but it's getting very tight. If we just kind of draw out this tightening formation, right? Ethereum's getting really tight in through here. I really think that a breakout in Ethereum could usher in this altcoin season that everyone's been talking about, where you have these alternative coins finally starting to move and multi right baggers and some of these things when they move, but Ethereum has to kind of break out in order to make that happen. Now, traditional currency space, we can look at the Dixie, DXY, DXY. That's just going to the Dixie group. Let's just do it over here. DXY. And we're going to look at a monthly chart. So the dollar index pretty hugely broke out of this massive range we were in for a very long period of time, right? We had the 2022 rally in this particular market. We came down and then we've just been consolidating sideways since late 2022. So almost 2 years of just kind of sideways action. We've broken that. So far, we're holding. Looking at today, we need to see some more action above this. Maybe we take a shot at these prior highs on the dollar. If we fail and we kind of get back into this box, there could be a lot of people that are caught offside there. So that's something that we definitely want to keep in mind when we're looking at the dollar index or the DXY here, just looking at this particular range. Now, going back into traditional markets, the S&P 500. So, down month in December. I know people are trying to cancel the Santa Claus rally already. It still has 2 days, technically. So, could still, probably looks like no Santa Claus rally, but it could. It still has a 2 days. But pretty solid reversal in last month's candle. We had a very strong month. Then we had a pullback month. I don't know if this is meaning the top of the market, but it is interesting that this is happening at the same time that the Bitcoin had that gravestone doji. Could be time for a little bit of pullback, could be some sort of consolidation, could be time for a rest, unless we just get another reversal again. If we have a strong move up and then we have a push down that isn't able to take out that low, and then we have a strong move up again and that's able to take out that high, well, that whipsaw action could definitely cause some shorts or some people that sold here to get out of their position. I'm more interested, however, in the RSP, which is the equal weighted S&P 500 chart. So these are the same names. There's just not weighted to the big guys. So this doesn't care as much about Tesla and doesn't care as much about Meta and Apple as some of the other ones. And it had a worse month last month. It actually broke the low of this range right here. So unless we get a bounce pretty quickly, this is showing me that the average stock is the best way to look at it. This is showing us what the average large cap stock is doing. Is it a little under pressure, right? So it needs to resolve one way or another. Now, when you have a big candle like this, before you get that resolution, it's common, you see this on daily charts all the time, to have a couple days of back and forth action. So if we resolve one way or the other, then we could have a nice move. I just don't know if that's going to happen this month or if we're going to have some sort of digestion, rotation happening this month, and then maybe next month or the month after we get some sort of resolution. You can see why it makes sense to zoom out to these longer term charts, because now I've just kind of, as I'm looking at the chart and talking to you guys, I expect chop for the next few months when I see a candle like this. So over at Stats Edge Trading, what we do is I have 4 algorithms currently, and I'm always working on more. Every weekend, they spit out a bunch of results, and they say, this stock is interesting at this price, this stock is interesting at this price. We have all the statistics behind what will happen if we just trade them robotically. But what I like to do is if I have a theory of the market, which I've just am developing now with you guys, then I know that there's 2 of those algorithms that will work very, very well in choppy markets, not so much in trending markets. And there's a trending algorithm that's not going to work as well in the choppy market. So I can allocate more time and energy and capital to the ones that will do better if I'm right and we're going to get a choppy market and right avoid the other guys. So that's what's happening in the RSP. Let's take a look here. The IWM, this is a small cap guy. It still can't get it going, right? We have these prior highs way back here. These are 2020, 2021 highs. Tried to get through them. We new monthly closing high and then just kind of complete rug pull. So could be more of the same unless we see some very kind of aggressive buying happening at the beginning of the month. So this is what the small caps look like. IWC, which is our micro caps, our little tiny guys, they still can't get even close to their all-time highs. So a lot of this is just saying, hey, the big caps, they did fantastic. We need this rotation to come in the smaller caps. We need these rotations to come into the micro caps to show the market that, yes, we're interested and we're going to be buying stocks at all of these levels. So we're not really seeing that too much. What is interesting, if we take a look at some of these sectors, like XLK, which is technology, that had its gravestone doji as well, but held on very strong. So a lot of the things that had been working all year continued to work until the end of the year. A lot of the things that weren't working all year didn't work until the end of the year. So this is not uncommon what we're seeing. So for me, in order to get really, really excited about the market going into the new year, going into next month, is I need to see these small and these micro caps starting to catch up to the large caps. I want to see that RSP gain some ground. If that can happen, again, I think there's going to be a lot of people caught offside saying, they were betting on this bear market or they're betting on the top of the market. If that reverses quickly enough, you get some short covering rally, you get some people buying in because they need to. The last kind of point I wanted to give out, if you didn't see the last video on the channel, definitely go check that out. That's about the January effect, which just talks about all of the shenanigans that happened due to tax reason in January. I'm watching very closely to see if that occurs. The first 5 days is very interesting. So that will take us till, I think, Wednesday next week. A couple of these days that are very, very interesting to notice and to check out. Make sure you're checking out that video because I'm going to be covering that next week when I do my weekend wrap up. We're going to see, did the first 5 days carry out? How are we looking for the January barometer? A lot of these things that are going to occur, and I will see you guys next time.